Hey guys. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about this thing that I've been seeing in and around relationships and is, in the relationship coaching sphere and realm, and what is right and what is wrong. And okay, so here's what I have to say is when it comes to polarity, and what I mean by polarity is the attraction between opposites. So, masculine and feminine, man and woman, the moon and the sun, light and dark. They're opposites, and opposites attract. And so, because they attract, what that creates is a dance of back and forth energy. Okay, there's a circuit, an electrical circuit that is created by this electromagnetism. Okay, and so we're living in a time where there's just a lot of propaganda, and I would even say confusion and transformation as it pertains to at personal freedom and liberation. So meaning that women, like, let's just talk about women, for example. Women, for the past plus 50 years began working and coming into their own personal empowerment, and that power in some cases really was a masculine expression, meaning going out and working and being in the world and getting money and putting themselves out there. That's a very masculine dynamic for women, as opposed to what would be feminine is staying in the home, taking care of the home, being inside, being internal, taking care of children, raising children. That's a very maternal or feminine inside dynamic, or not even a dynamic, but rather a just a way of being. And so because of that, it has, it nothing is an island, right? So that has shifted some things with men. And because women are embodying more of that masculine energy, then in order for and because of that, it throws off the polarity. So, or it can throw off polarity. But here's what I want to say about that. And I am as a doctor of Oriental medicine, my master's degree is in, a lot of the theories that are about yin and yang, okay? Masculine and feminine energies being the, like the two, it is what makes up the whole cosmos, is this electromagnetic dynamism between masculine and feminine energies. Okay, the cycles, even the cycles of the sun and the moon, is because of this. We have day and night, we have the seasons of the year, all because of this dance of masculine and feminine energy. Okay, so I've been a student of this for a very long time, over 20 years, and I've been teaching on it, and it's been a part of my career for at least 15 years. So it's something that, I've been practicing seeing in hundreds and hundreds of patients, but also just in life in general. Okay, so here's what I want to say about it is, when it comes to having a balanced and a harmonious relationship, ideally, the more that a man is embodying his essence, as a man, because that is what he is biologically, and a woman is embodying her femininity and her core feminine essence, you know, there's a beautiful dance that's going to happen, just like in the tango. Okay. However, we have both of these energies inside of us. That is a given. Okay. If you, for example, as a woman, if you enjoy self-expression, if you enjoy career and making money and being out in the world, making an impact, being a visionary, leaving a legacy, even creative self-expression, in a lot of cases, this is a very dynamic and masculine energy, okay? And it's not unlike lovemaking, okay? In lovemaking, the woman is not always in the receivership position, okay? It's women get on top, okay? It's a very fun position. It's a kind of role play, and it's a type of definitely empowerment for a woman, okay? So, but when that dynamic is happening, do we make that wrong? Do we say, oh, she's in her masculine energy, that's not the way it's supposed to be? No, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make the sex bad. It doesn't make orgasm not possible. And the whole point of relationship is to create, it's creative energy. Okay, let's just even back it up some more. Let's talk about sexual energy. Is purely what it is creative energy. It is the ability to create new life. So sexual energy isn't just about friction in the bedroom. Anytime that you are stepping into the role as the creator or the designer of your life, whether that's through art, whether that's through a business, whether that's through making a baby, whether that's through you know, creating the life that you want to live, that requires sexual energy, because you're creating something new, something that did not previously exist. And in order to create that, it requires the fusion of masculine and feminine energies coming together. Okay? So in relationship, in romantic relationship, what's happening is a man and a woman are coming together to create something, to create a new life. Very traditionally, what's, you know, the purpose of a lot of relationships is to create a family. A man and a woman come together, they're creating a baby to then create a family, okay? But that's not the only thing that happens in a romantic relationship. And arguably, if you're not creating a child, if you're not creating a baby of your body, you know, at some point you must ask, well, what are we creating together? Because if you're not actually creating something, then there's like, it's like, what is the point of this dance coming together? Okay. And that in and of itself, I have worked with tons and tons of clients that are experiencing problems, whether that's in their romantic relationship, with fertility, and just other problems in their life in general, because it's not very clear what they're creating and what is the purpose of the relationship. What are we doing together? What life are we creating? Okay. So now coming back to this woman on top business and women being in that masculine dynamic, and perhaps men taking a more feminine role of being in receivership or leaning back or laying back. I really want you guys, let's get juicy. Let's fucking bring it into the bedroom, because that's my forte. And let's talk about that. Okay. So in lovemaking, in sex, when a woman is on top, ideally, if the man is just laying there, like not doing anything, and the woman's on top riding him, first of all, it's not fun, because there's no connection. There's no connection happening. And so when a woman is on top, ideally the man is guiding her, right? Like guiding her hips, guiding her thrust, turning her on in other ways, through other parts of her body, gazing into her eyes, grabbing her hair, whatever, use your imagination, that sort of vibe. And so it's the same thing with the woman when she is in that role in her life. It's not meant to be for a man to just be like, oh, well, what do I do now? I serve no purpose. It's no, how can he guide her? How can he support her? How can he show her, how it can be more pleasurable, or how she can do it better, or see something perhaps that she's not seeing, or express herself in a way that perhaps she's not as confident or skilled at. Okay, so it's not like, oh, all of a sudden now he has no purpose. It's no, his purpose is to guide and support her. Okay. And vice versa. When a woman is on the bottom, right? Like, is she just supposed to lay there with like no expression and no nothing? No, like she's going to guide his hips and tell him how she wants it, or express to him what feels really fucking good. She's not just going to, she's going to be connected. And that's really the essence of this message that I want to share with you guys. And something that I'm seeing in the online space is like, women need to be more feminine and men just need to be more masculine, and that's it. And first of all, it's not realistic, because that's not life. That's actually not what happens in real life, and that's not what happens in nature. Life is about change. There's always going to be changing. I mean, it would be fucking boring if the woman was always on the bottom and the man was always on the top. Am I right? But there needs to be a connection. There needs to be communication. And so a la Venus into Gemini. Gemini is the sign about communication. It represents the throat chakra. Venus is the goddess of love and relationships. So Venus is moving into Gemini tonight. And so this is an opportunity. And Gemini is the sign of polarity as well, meaning it's the lovers or the twins or the brothers. It's if the yin yang symbol of the black and white. And so this is a beautiful opportunity, and something that I had shared in my Star Disco Telegram. For those of you who are new to me and my world, my brand is Star Disco, which is all about living your life as a star, recognizing that you yourself are a whole cosmos of divine energy with all sorts of voices of intelligence inside of you. And there's like all of these gears that are shifting all of the time inside of your life, meaning as one planet, which is a voice of intelligence inside of you, moves into a new sign or does a certain thing in the cosmos, that's also happening. It's an invitation for you to grow and adapt and evolve, and to experience another aspect of you perhaps, and expand your range, your personal self-expression in a way that you previously wasn't done. Okay, so I shared all about this inside. I have a Telegram channel where I talked about Mars being in Cancer and what that means for men and what that means for women and in relationship. And so because that is the energy that is happening out in the cosmos, it's also happening here inside of us. And so when the woman is on the woman is on top and the man is on the bottom, it's not like, oh, that's not the way that it's supposed to be. It's a shift and a change in the energy and the dynamic. And it's an opportunity for the woman to step more into that role for whatever reason that may be, for her own pleasure, for her own self-expression, for her own opportunity to be penetrated more by life. And that's an opportunity for men to heal their heart, for men to get more in touch with their intuition and their their feelings and their vulnerability, so that they can um, so that they can be more in touch with the the thing that they're seeking, what it is that they're actually, what is home for them, what is, you know, what is it that they need? Because men need things too. Yes, men in and of itself, they're meant to be the providers and to be strong and to be that source of provision. But men have needs too. Men get injured. And when men go out into battle and they've been, you know, out in the world and like going through the jungles, that's part of what happens in war, right? When you go out into unknown territory, is yes, you can suffer defeat, failure, and there's a healing period that needs to happen. If that doesn't happen, then there's no recovery. There's no opportunity to grow stronger. And there's no question about it that women and the feminine energy is what provides healing energy for men, okay, to become whole. And essentially, I mean, that's like the whole purpose of relationships, right? Is for us to grow and expand and to heal our hearts. And that's why, I mean, I think that so many people, you know, why relationships are challenging is because they require you to become bigger. They require you to become more of who you've always meant to become. They stretch you so that you can contain another person in your love. You essentially have to expand. And we can use the imagery of stretching, right? You can stretch yourself, but you're never going to be able to stretch yourself as much as somebody else who is stretching you. It's just the way that it is. That's why we hire personal trainers. It's why we hire coaches and mentors, because there's more energy with two. There's no getting around that. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. It's 3. 3 is a lot more than 1. So you're never going to be able to go as far on your own as you can with another person. You're never going to be able to stretch yourself as much as you can alone as you can with another person. And that's the whole purpose of relationships, is for your growth. It's for you to move through karma. It's for you to heal your heart. And that's challenging because the other person is essentially mirroring back to you all of the parts of you that are still immature, that are still not yet healed, the places within you that you are still not whole, that you still have wounding. And that takes effort. That takes growth. So, that's my message for you guys today. I wanted just to talk about that. And if you guys, if this is something that you're interested in, I highly recommend that you join me in the Star Disco Apprenticeship. Star Disco Apprenticeship is a 1-year, I'm not even going to call it group coaching or even a mastermind, because it's so much more than that. It is an apprenticeship. It's a synthesis of the over 20 years of my experience and my knowledge as a doctor of Oriental medicine, with astrology, as a performance and a singing artist and an athlete. And it's a force multiplier. Essentially, it is what I use in my own personal life to design the life that I deeply, um, it, as an artist, to me, there's nothing more, it's me creating my life in a way that is really, truly authentic to me. And, the way that I actually developed this was, um, as, oh, how many years ago? Yeah, like I would say, 8 years ago, a little bit less than 8 years ago. I'm a mother of three, and I used to see patients behind my home. I had a witch's cottage behind my home. And, so I was a mother, a wife, and also, a physician. But there was something missing from my life. I did not feel like I was being fully expressed. There was something missing, something that really just felt like this isn't my life. This isn't authentic to me. And I had put music and my art and my creativity on the back burner because I had all of these other things in my life. And it would have been really, really easy for me to use that excuse, because it is, of I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I just don't have the energy. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the space in my life in order to do these things that actually really make me feel alive, that allow me to express myself and to essentially me really be me. And there was a lot of depression that I was experiencing, and it was starting to manifest in different ways in my life, in my romantic relationship. There was unnecessary drama that I was experiencing because that element of real drama, of being a performance artist, of being self-expressed wasn't there. And so something that you'll hear me say quite often in the Star Disco brand or in my one-on-one work is, you have to do the planets or the planets will do you. Meaning if there is a talent that you have, but you're not using it, you're not expressing it, it will express in your life, but in a negative way, in an unhealthy way, because it's like you can't shove it in a closet, you can't push it under the rug, it's always going to be there. But it's up to you it's like being given a gift and a talent, but then you're not doing anything with it. It becomes a curse, it becomes a source of an aching pain in your soul. And I got to the point where I was just not willing to live that life anymore. And I had to make a decision. I had to decide that this was a non-negotiable act of personal liberation and personal sovereignty. And so I began mobilizing all of my energy and my resources in order to start creating this life that was true and authentic to me. And through that, the Star Disco brand was born, which was essentially, it's like a choose your own adventure where you begin initiating yourself. You start recognizing where there are these portals, these openings of initiation for you to step into greater levels of self-expression, of creativity and beauty. And so through doing that and starting to live and create my life this way, I went from seeing, hundreds and hundreds of clients behind my home, and I was very successful. I've worked with the whole Wayne Dyer family, with the CEO of the American Cancer Treatment Centers of America. It wasn't like I was doing bad, but it wasn't being all of me. And so I went from doing that kind of work to now I've created a whole modality called Star Disco, and it's working with rites of passage, which I believe is a lost art in our culture, meaning we don't even really honor the many, many, many rites of passages that people are going through in their life, but they don't know. They don't have a name for it. So they're going through something in their life and they're experiencing a lot of disappointment, frustration, bitterness, resentment, depression, because they don't understand where they're at in that journey, in that process. They don't understand, or they can't see what's on the other side. They don't know what is available to them and how to actually go through those transitions and the timing of it. It's a game changer when you know, oh, this is what's happening. This is what I must do. This is what I must create in order to get through to the other side. It's a game changer because it takes out all of this undue disempowerment, and just it's awareness. It's a whole other level of personal empowerment, sovereignty, and awareness that you're able to step into when you understand that you get to create the life that you want to live. And as you connect more deeply with the different voices of intelligence inside of you that are wanting to mature, that there is a portal opening for this planet to evolve, you can align with it. You can align with it. And then you get to change your identity. The reason why we have mass mediocrity in this world, why 97% of people do not make irreversible, lasting change in their life, is because they're not actually changing their identity. They're not changing their personality. Your personality is what creates your personal reality. And it must be alchemical. Alchemical meaning that once that change has been made, you can never go back. So once I began going through and cultivating these alchemical rites of passage, I have never gone back. There's a new standard, a new foundation that you lay down for yourself. And it's like, I couldn't imagine ever going back to my relationship being like that. Or I could never go back to only making a certain amount of money. Or I could never go back to my body looking like that, or experiencing those challenges with my family. You can apply this to any area of your life. But the Star Disco brand, this is focused on art and creativity and sexual self-expression, Eros, okay? The creative life force moving through you, because that's who I work with. I work with visionaries, avant-garde, creatives, and entrepreneurs that desire to step into their highest sexual, creative self-expression with vitality, with health, and something that I want to share that I see a lot with visionaries, people that are here to bring in the new, that have the vision of where we're heading and where we're going, and new ways, new systems, new business structures, new healthcare structures, all of these different things, these different visions that they have. Is one of the big challenges of visionaries is that you have to recognize when you have a vision, is that if it's worth it to you, you have to be willing to change your lifestyle for it. And this is one of the big things that I see with visionaries, is they have this vision, but then they get stuck and they don't know, or they're not willing to change the rest of their life in order to bring it through. Meaning, they're still maybe having certain, they're still being a certain way in their relationships. So like, let's say, for example, you're a mother and you have this vision, okay? If you have this vision and you're going to bring it through, that means you're going to have to change the things that you're doing every single day, how you're living your life as a mother or as a wife or as an entrepreneur in order to bring through this new system. If you stay stuck to the habits and the lifestyle and the way that you're living, in order to bring in the new, you have to change. And a big part of your life is the life that you're living, meaning the habits, the way, what you wear, the people you hang out with, how you spend your money, how much money you're making, how you see yourself in the mirror, the belief systems that you have, what you think is possible, where you're living, how you travel. All of these different things is actually what is creating and incubating your new life. So if you're not willing to change these aspects of your lifestyle and of your habits and your routines, you cannot bring through the new. So as a visionary, it's really important that, and I want to just, because I work with a lot of visionaries right now, and something that I'm doing, some of you guys might be familiar with it, is I had an offering. It's called Fierce Feminine Fantasy. And what it's doing is I do archetype activations and working on your energy field to bring through your image, to start bringing through archetypes in your brand and through your image. So in how you look, in your beauty, in your self-expression. And so one of the archetypes that I've been seeing a lot in my clients in this package are their visionary women. And one of the big challenges that they're having is they have to recognize when the vision that they have, that they desire to bring through, is worth rearranging their life for. There's a sacrifice. There is a sacrifice. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up, is they either don't understand what sacrifice really means, or they don't know how to make those sacrifices. Meaning a sacrifice is something that I see a lot is that people feel that like they're not willing to make sacrifices in their life because it makes them feel like they have to be without something that they want. But the truth is, and so let me give you an example. If they see something that they really want, and maybe it costs more money than they're used to spending, to them in their mind, they see that as a loss. They're going to have to sacrifice money in order, and so they won't have it in order to invest into themselves or a business or whatever it may be. So it's a sacrifice. But sacrifice actually gets you closer to what you want, not further away. Another example is maybe it's going to require more of your time. So you might be like, well, I don't have the time for that. But the truth is, like, let's get really honest. How many hours a day are you spending scrolling on social media, or maybe watching movies, or you're on Facebook, or maybe you're sitting on your couch, or there's just like a lot of things, ways that you're spending your time that if you're really, really honest with yourself, it's not a part of where you're going. It's not like a part of the idealized vision that you have for your life. So it's much easier to say, oh, I don't have the time. But the truth is just you're not willing to sacrifice, to get real with what your priorities are. So you see that as something that's going to cost you, and you're not willing to rearrange your life in order to bring through that vision. Another example is Maybe you're having a hard time committing to one person in a relationship. Like maybe you're dating, or maybe you're not quite ready to get married, because in your mind you think, well, if I commit to one person, then that means that I may miss out on the potential other people that might be out there that might be a better fit, that might be a better catch or something. And it's like what's happening is that because you're not willing to commit and devote and make a promise to one person for the rest of your life, because you're afraid of missing out on some other, like, and it's not even real. It's not even real. And so that's what I mean by sacrifice, is that we don't have a correct, we have a distorted, in this culture, there is a distorted understanding of what sacrifice actually means, because people think that sacrifice is taking you, you're losing something, as opposed to it getting you closer to what you want. We can use the food, for example. Oh, I'm not willing to cut sugar out of my diet because then I'm not going to have that sweetness in my life. But then, well, then your body you're not going to have the six pack that you want. So it's like, do you want the six pack, or do you want the ice cream and the jelly donuts or whatever? You understand what I'm saying? It's like we don't, in our culture, because in this culture, literally, everybody has been programmed in this culture for the quick fix. If you have a problem, take an Advil, get a surgery. It's like you don't understand the concept of discomfort. And, it's if something hurts or if something's uncomfortable, we've got a Band-Aid for that. We've got a drug for that. You're not willing to go through the discomfort of pain and of the stretch. Growth is uncomfortable. Why do you think it's called growing pains? Growth is uncomfortable. And what separates champions, what separates people that get what they want on the other side of the tunnel, people that do miraculous fucking shit in this world, and people that aren't. And I'm just keeping it real with you guys. This is not saying that anybody is better than other people, but there is a difference. There are people that are actually, there's a difference between people that are living to their highest potential, making big changes in their life, contributing to the world in a bigger way, living the life that they deeply fucking desire, and those that are complacent and not willing to make the changes, not willing to make the sacrifices, not willing to move their ass. The difference is that those people are willing to do whatever it takes, and they're not quitting. They're willing to deal with failure. They're not seeing, if I try something one time and it doesn't work out, then it's not meant to be, or that means that it's not possible. No, it means that you didn't fucking do it the first crack out of the box. Go again. Be willing to fall on your face and get up and go again. The journey to becoming wise. And I'm pausing, guys, because there is value in wisdom just for wisdom's sake. Meaning, what does it actually mean to become wise? It's, there's people that want to become better, to become more wise, not because it means that they're going to suffer less or they're going to experience less discomfort, but that's why we came here. We came here to evolve. The whole purpose of being on this fucking playground is to evolve. And when you can and I think that this is actually what keeps people from vitality, what keeps people from bliss, from experiencing the bliss that is available to you at all times is that there's resistance to just acknowledging that you came here to grow and evolve. And if you just take a moment to just accept that deeply inside of yourselves, that you can, on some level, you came here to evolve consciousness, that the purpose of your desires, the whole purpose of the things that you fantasize about, the dreams that you have, the desires that you have in your heart, the whole purpose of them is for you to evolve and for our world to evolve and to grow and expand. And that means that, yes, there's going to be uncomfortableness. Guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to have incredibly bad stage fright. I don't know, you guys maybe knew, or you may, I have a music video that's coming out. It's called Dragon Ride. Right now, it's being sent out for some final last-minute editing shifts. I have come out with several songs. I'm a vocalist and a performing artist. I actually was a professional singer as a kid growing up. But what a lot of you guys, you may or you may not know, is that I used to have like debilitating stage fright, meaning where I had palpitations. I was literally felt like my heart was coming out of my chest. Okay? I had to go through that. I had to lead myself through that fear of being seen, of being judged, of being overly conscientious, of what will people think if they see me in my pleasure? What will people think if I'm being seen sexy? What will people think if think like they think I'm showing off? What, oh my God, I can't say this. I can't, blah, 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 blah. Okay? But me hiding, me pretending like that actually wasn't a desire, me pretending like I didn't have this amazing voice and this gift and this ability to dance and to put on a show for people and to bring pleasure to the world through my beauty and my self-expression was making me sick inside. It was causing problems in my romantic relationship. I wasn't actually being the best mother that I could be because I wasn't being me. The greatest burden that a child can bear is the unlived life of its parents. Nobody knows that more than me. I grew up visiting my father in prison for over 10 years. Every time, I came face to face to what it looked like to see my parent not to wasting away inside of a cell behind bars. It was a huge fucking burden that I had to carry for many, many years. And I'm not going to get into that story. I've shared with it. If you're interested in that short story and how, and this is like really going back into how I led myself to getting back on stage, to coming out with my music again, to coming out with a video, to creating the Star Disco brand. You definitely want to watch this from the beginning, join my Star Disco Telegram, or I have other videos that I'm happy to share with you in more of the nitty gritty and how I led myself through that process. However, that's what the Star Disco brand is all about. It's about how you can step into the role that you came here to be to live your life as a star and to shine your love light as brightly as possible. Hence why it's called Star Disco. It's you are a heavenly body in motion. Move your ass. Move like you mean business. It's time to dance. It's time to get on and express what is inside of you. The world, let me just pull back because that can totally, this is about for you. Yes, definitely when you do that, it's a gift that there's nothing like it, to share your gifts with the world and to see how that touches other people's life. But you do it for you first. you do it for you first, because how can you not? Because that's what, when you have touched Eros, the creative life force inside of you, there is no place for doubt. There is no place for second guessing. And that's how I worked through, by being able to get in touch, to get deeply in touch with my own eroticism and Eros and self-love. That's how I was able to break through into greater and greater levels of self-expression. I'm going to share something with you that I've shared. Something that I do as an artist is I create art pieces that are in line with the different cosmic cycles that we're in, the different planets, the archetypes that are alive, archetypes being basically like prototypes that are available within everybody in the human soul. And even tarot, astrology is all archetypes. Tarot is all archetypes, okay? So I create art pieces, and one of the art pieces that I created when I was writing my song Dragon Ride with I co-wrote that song, is this art piece. And so the way that this is a picture of me. And what happened is, for the album cover, I was in a banyan tree, and in that process we had met this guy, and I didn't know he was a photographer, but in this whole process, like the erotic energy of being in the tree and coming alive and stepping into this archetype of the dragon ride, my clothes came off and I was just wild. I became wildly self-expressed and was hanging upside down in this tree. And this is actually a story that I share with people that are in the Star Disco brand, with my clients and my students, about the Venus journey or the story of Inanna, and the resurrection story of Inanna, and and how that belongs to the cycle of Venus, and her being, and it's very similar to the story of Christ. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but that's something that we cover very deeply inside of the Star Disco brand. We're going to be covering actually this summer, when we step into the Muse extravaganza, which is all about Venus and the mystery school of Venus. Super stoked and excited about that. But how, when you start following the path of, like, for example, this would be Venus, there's a whole rite of passage, there's a whole hero's journey, and there's different levels of self-expression and awakening that happen. And so through that process, like, this was my mythos. This was Venus, the mythos, or the archetype of Venus coming alive within me. And I call this is the Hanged Woman. And so this is the Empress. This is actually the highest, this is the Empress in, if you guys are familiar with the Tarot, the Hanged Man is also the higher octave of the Empress. Okay? So, and this is, the process, the death and the rebirth process of the goddess, of the Empress, of the mother lover. So I know that I just threw at you guys a lot of different concepts, but these are things that I lead you through and I teach you inside of the Star Disco Apprenticeship. So, and there's a lot of free trainings that I actually already have available for those who are interested in learning how to use this methodology, for if you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you're a visionary, and to use this in your work to bring this through in the world. If you feel like there's more, and that there's more to your life perhaps than maybe just being a mom, and there's nothing wrong with just being a mother. It's just, for me, it was about so much more. It was that I wasn't really fully being myself if it was just about that. So gosh, I talked about so many things, and there's so many other things that I wanted to share with you guys, a lot of different insights that are coming through right now. But I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys have questions, put them here in the comments. If you're interested in joining, if you want more information on the Star Disco Apprenticeship, I highly recommend you joining my free Telegram channel, where there's a lot more information, details, free masterclasses and trainings, and you get to ask me questions specifically about it and get a taste for what this is all about. This is a lot of people, like, they love this space. So if you enjoyed this live stream, you're gonna enjoy the Star Disco Telegram. And that's it. That's what I've got for you guys. Happy Venus into Gemini. If you want more information about that message, watch this from the beginning, because I talk about relationship, polarity, and what the gift or the opportunity of what Venus in Gemini is all about for about the next month. Okay? I love you. Bye.